Unless you have a ruler, you cannot straighten what is crooked. This comes to us from Seneca. And what I believe Seneca means by this is if you are crooked, if you are misguided, things of that nature, you cannot fix yourself unless you have a ruler. And what is a ruler in this sense? It is a figure that you can examine yourself against. It is a person that you can pin each one of your actions and potential actions against and say, would they do this? Would they approve of this? And why? Yes or no, why? And without this, it's hard to straighten what is crooked, and you can have a ruler your ruler can be anybody. It can be a person of history, it can be a person of the present, it can be a person you know, a person you don't know. It could be Jesus, it could be Marcus Aurelius, it could be Seneca, Epictetus, it could be anybody. It could be your dad, it could be your mom, it could be anybody in the world, dead or alive. It could be a fictional character as well. It doesn't need to be a real person. It just needs to be something that you examine your actions against. And you don't need to conform to a T to your ruler. Because in the sense of this type of ruler, no ruler is perfect. And if you truly examine the situation and you say, you know, Marcus Aurelius, for example, Marcus Aurelius had slaves. So if you took Marcus Aurelius as your, end all be all ruler, then the fact that you don't have slaves would be wrong. But of course, we live in a day and age where that is not the case. And rightfully so. But that's just a good example, I believe, for saying, okay, I have this person who, of moral excellence, I think Marcus Aurelius is. And you, and back to the slave thing, I don't think you can really hold that against Marcus. I mean, you definitely can, but it was just a different world 2,000 years ago. It was just different. It was just different. Not saying in a good way, not saying it should be, but it just was. And yeah, but you can pin yourself against Marcus Aurelius and say, would he do this? Would this be right in his eyes? And if so, then it's fine. And if not, then examine that. And if you still believe it's right for you to do, then it is the right thing to do. Marcus Aurelius says this in Meditations. He says, if it's the right thing to do, it is the right thing for you to do, which is common sense and, trite to say. But how often do we examine a situation and say, this is the right thing to do, but just not for me to do? And, we never truly say that, but we think it. We kind of beat around the bush and think it, to say the right thing for someone to do right now is to step in and stop this injustice. But I'm not the right person for that. I'm not qualified. I'm not this. I'm not that. Somebody else needs to step in. And there is no heroes. There's just heroic decisions. And you're just one heroic decision away from being a hero. Never forget that. But back to the point of the video, you need to find a person, dead or alive, real or fake, that you can measure your actions against. Or you can't hope to become straightened. You can't hope to fix your crookedness because you're crooked based off of how you've already acted, based on not putting yourself up against a ruler. So it's clear to say that you need one if you want to straighten yourself. And everyone's different, but I think it is valuable to pick a person who you believe, has moral excellence and you believe is just and you believe can help you become a better person. And when before you say embark on a bad habit you're trying to break or do something that, you've regretted in the past that you're trying to stop doing, you can ask yourself, what would this person do? And if the answer is clearly no, or clearly they wouldn't do it, you can that can help you act better. And that can help you realize, or can help you feel more guilty, which is, not necessarily bad if you're trying to actually, if you feel guilty, then that means you shouldn't be doing it. So anything that helps you feel more guilty should give you a sign that you shouldn't really be doing that thing. So pick a ruler and don't be dogmatic in following its line, but if you veer from the line, make sure it's in service to making the line straighter, because no ruler is perfect, but you do need one to get a basis for where you're going.